Perfect. So we're working with the Getting Started webinar for district administrators. And in this webinar today, I'm hoping that we can look at how to upload schools, upload your classes, your teachers, and your students. How do we play with the settings? What features are there available for you as district administrators? What types of reporting you'll have available to you? And again, questions and answers at the end of the day. Okay, so let me get started. And of course, I'm showing you my screen for when we end with how to reach out to us should you need any sort of assistance. Okay, so let's see. I'm now on my page where I'm showing you how when you log into Typing Agent as an administrator, you get to see this page. If you don't see my screen, just you can send a chat saying, hey, I don't see your screen, but I think you're seeing it. If ever anything isn't going well, just alert me, let me know. So as a district administrator, when you log in, the first thing you see is this page. We tried to make it as simple as we can with numbers 1 through 3, and that part deals with uploading your school data. So whether you're a new school or returning school, you click on that number 1, and it takes you to the directions with how to manage your CSV file. Now, for those of you who don't know what a CSV file is, it's essentially a spreadsheet, but when you go to save it, you save it the extension as a CSV. Personally, we prefer the UTF-8 format because if your students have apostrophes, dashes, or anything in their names, this format will accept those without saying, hey, there's an error. So let's get to looking at how to pull in your school data. You notice that some of these fields are required, some are optional. When it's required, that means you have it. When it's optional, it means you don't necessarily need it. However, we're suggesting, even though you may not need it, when you do your form, you keep the CSV file, keep the columns there. If you don't have the columns as they appear, you will get an error message. So do keep school name, address, phone, school code, allocated students, and action. Those columns need to be there. Keep them labeled. I found that when it's labeled as such, you tend to have less problems with uploading your data. And in the action columns, you tend to use C for create, U for update, D for delete. These actions will be required throughout all of the forms when you set them up. So notice in this form, there's a school code. You can create your own code, and it has to be 6 letters, numerals, whatever, but it needs to be at least 6 characters, and you're going to put it in there. If you don't create a school code, we will give those for you. This is uber important because the codes determine which schools your students will go to. So I click back on this admin button and I click on school code, on school management, and notice right here when I upload my schools, notice that school code is right there. So when you get to put in your teachers and your students and you want to assign them to a school, this is the code that you will use. So if I want to use this for Sophia Institute of Learning, I have to use this code here for everything that has to do with this particular school. Okay, so having a school isn't the only thing you need. You need to have your staff. So I'm going to upload my staff, and these are the required columns and data that I need for to make my teachers be uploaded to the correct schools. Notice here that where I was talking previously about the school codes, those are the codes where you would put in where these teachers are to go in. So you have your roles, your titles, usernames. I don't need to read through this. This is where you would go to fill in all of this information. Key things to remember here is that role for the teacher, if it's just a teacher, that person is put in as a teacher. If it's a school administrator, it's S admin. And if you're putting in a district administrator, you put that person in as a D admin. You complete the required fields, the optional if you wish. You upload your file here. We do have a sample file there for you. You upload the file, and as you upload your file, it matches the columns you go through, and you get a success message at the end with how much data you have actually uploaded. So now I have my teachers, and notice when I upload my teachers, they'll be right here. All of these staff, be they district administrators, school administrators, or teachers, they are here with the roles you have given them when you created them or updated them. Let's go back to the this get started area. Let's upload our classrooms. So we have the school, we have the teachers. Let's create the classrooms. We do that with the bulk upload, and you have this particular information. You need to have a class code, and if you don't create your own class code, we will, if you left this blank, we will give your classrooms a code. This is so important because this is what puts the children in a specific classroom. So you have your class code there, give it a name, you give the teacher's username, and you would have given the teacher a username in that previous field. And we're going to use that username to map the students to the classroom and to the teacher. You have your school code, which I showed you previously, and then you can either create, delete, or if there was something to update here for your classroom, you can go ahead and update that. Follow the same process of uploading it, finding the matching color. You can preview it to make sure everything is correct. And then you upload the file, you get a success message right away. If it doesn't upload everything, when you look at your CSV file again, you'll see a little triangle at the far right saying, hey, something is wrong. Just hover over that triangle and we'll tell you, hey, fix this, fix that. The last thing we need now to do is upload our students. And this is really the meat and potatoes here, getting the students in. Notice there's the school code, which was required, the class code. Well, I don't like saying that this is optional. For me, this is a required thing because this is what puts the students in their classrooms. And I will show you where to get those class codes. You give your students a username. And for us, because many schools, many districts have so many privacy concerns, we really don't care about the first name and the last name. If you call them student 1, student 2, like we have them here, and your teachers can differentiate who you mean, go right ahead and do that. But what is required is that the username needs to be unique. And many times we get complaints and support saying that we can't find this student or we can't upload that student in our CSV files. Why that happens is many times when your students know they're going to use Typing Agent, they come in and they create home accounts or they create demo accounts for themselves. And because they're using your unique school's username that you gave for them, that's why you can't upload them in your file. If you find that happening, just write to us at support and say, hey, I can't find them. And this little thing, when I say write to us at support, just click that, send us a message, and we'll be there to help you along the way. So we'll delete that student account, and so that you can now upload them into your account as you should. You give them a password. For all of your kindergarten kids, don't put them in as, when you're tagging in the grade level, don't put them as K, put them as zeros. Kindergarten meaning that you're in grade 0, and your other students in their particular grade level, the same action items to create, update, delete them. Here, you can put tags on them if you wish. That area can be empty and follow the same process to upload, to match the columns, preview data, and then when you click that upload, it's going to tell you that your students were successfully uploaded. Here is where, when you need those classroom codes, when you click on, sorry, I didn't explain, I clicked on school management. You click on classrooms, and here is where you get your classroom codes. So when you need to add your children to a particular classroom that is being managed by a teacher or multiple teachers, you just use this class code here. And whatever you have, be they created by yourself or generated by us, you just put the class code there and the students will go to that particular classroom. For districts who are returning to us, we ask that you archive your data. I can look at this particular account, our test account that we've done, and I see that if I see a 2023 account here, date here, that's telling me, hey, you've already done your data reset. If you see nothing there, if you're a brand new account, that's great, there's nothing there. If you have data in your account, we ask that you reset your data so that your children this school year can take a new placement test, can take a new diagnostic test that will be based on their new grade levels work. So many teachers or school districts don't want to do this. They want the children to continue where they left off. I tend to say, well, it's up to you. We're flexible enough to do that, but your kids are not repeating a grade level. They're actually going to the next grade level. So if they practiced all through the summer, and typing agent is a 365 program, we never shut down. Your kids can practice over the summer so that when they come to school, they do that placement test. And based on how well they do, we put them on a path of learning. So to do that reset, you click your schools. We're here in this flyout menu to the right. It says New Year Reset. You can click archive. The key thing for us to do that is you archive all student data and you delete existing progress. Now, your school may have already begun and your students have already started working. So many of them may feel upset if you delete what they've done already. So you can actually go in and adjust this to say, if your school began August 1st, you can put it to not August 1st. If they did, let's go to July 31st. So everything that was done after this date, we keep. Everything done before, we're going to delete. If you're using, well, the kids are not going to repeat, hopefully. So you move them up one grade level, remove all unused accounts, and we can leave that as is and delete all existing classrooms if you want to start from scratch. For those of you who are rostering with ClassLink and Clever, we suggest that you delete the existing classrooms so that those rostering platforms can bring the students in by themselves. Oh, that also pertains to Google Classroom as well. You let Google Classroom roster your students if you're going to use their the single sign-on for those students. You click Update, and you're going to get this warning. Hey, if you do this, you're going to delete everything. Yes, you want to do it, so you click Confirm and Proceed. Tomorrow morning, you can always go in, and I can click here the next day, click here and view your resync status or status. You can then see that your update was done on this particular day. So the next day, because it does take 24 hours for that reset to be done, just click here and make sure it was done. If it wasn't, you can always write us to say, hey, it's been 24 hours, it has not reset. You'll tend to see a little clock on the side of it. You can ask us to check that for you. We will happily do so. So 24 hours in, after you've done your reset, click here and log on your settings. A new thing we've put in is we have more accessibility options for your students. So students who are blind, who are hard of hearing, who have different or special needs, you can actually use this and the program adjusts itself for those students. Note that we automatically have it available at the district level. The teachers will manage whether that specific students get this applied. Teachers and school administrators, I should say, manage which students do have access to the more robust features. We chose to let the teachers govern this because we find that lots of kids like to play around with it. So nope, let the teachers assign it to the students that deserve to have this. This here, your set school schedule is important because this, if you set, say, a test, it's basically what time does your schools tend to start and end. If you were to do a scheduled test, if you have this for, say, all time, there's no particular time, your students can log on at midnight and do a test. This here just governs when a test is administered, or when you want to look at what work was done during school time, what was done during as homework time. This is what differentiates one group of data from the other. So it's important that you set these times up. Note here, I left this intentionally at 22, 23 because we have so many districts with this not corrected. So you can log in, you can adjust this to 22, 23, it's year 2023. You can adjust this to your school is going to start whenever it starts. It's going to end 2024, and I'm going to just put July 31st. I can go here in my educational year, adjust this to 2023, and I'm going to hit save. Notice that whenever you do any sort of action, there's a green bar that comes that says it's been successfully updated. If you don't see that green thing happening, check again. Usually a red something comes along, a red bar telling you, hey, it was not done. But note that this happens. This is what confirms that your data has been set properly. But you know what? I want to take this back to 2022 because, again, I want to show you what happens for when I log in as a school administrator or a teacher, what they tend to see if you, as the district administrator, if you don't do these updates. But that's for later on. In permissions, this is what governs it tells who can do what for the schools. So you can review those and their parameters. I'm going to jump to target settings because this is what controls basically how typing agent runs. Notice these stars. Our stars is basically your children are working to earn stars. Typing agents meets current grade level expectations, or that's telling you that your children are working at grade level, is this 2-star option. And we have, whether your children meet them, we have them linked to experience points. So if children do a lesson and they earn 1 star, that is, and I looked at this one is a grade 4 setting. Our grade 4 default settings will be that the children will be working at 15 words per minute at 80% accuracy. That would gain them 1 star or 10 experience points. That may be great for some people, but that's not meeting grade level expectations. 2 stars or 20 experience points, because it's 10 by 2, is 20 words per minute at 85% accuracy for grade 4 students. And we have this set at our proficiency requirements are at no max retries. That means the student will have to do the exercise over and repeatedly until they can pass that. Now, it's not the same exercise. We have the practice activities first, where it gets their fingers nimble, and then they go to the main lesson and they do that main lesson. Once they pass it at 2 stars, then they can move on to the next lesson. We have many teachers who will go in, and because this is adaptable, they will go in and change this to let the student pass. That is good for the students that need special accommodations, but for the mass, we would suggest not doing that because you're letting your students build a weak foundation. For keyboarding, we see this later on, or I like to think of it like mathematics. When your children don't understand tens and ones, it's okay that they can pass through, or some people think, oh, it's not really important. But when they get to doing real or harder math and they don't understand the basic concepts, you see them start to fail. The same thing happens with keyboarding. If they don't master or control the proficiency of these standard or fundamental skills, the home row, the top row, then the bottom row, we see that they are going to get frustrated as more or harder characters are added to that. But note, you can update this for everyone. And then 3 stars, whenever students get 3 stars, they get 30 experience points. And 3 stars essentially is we just add 1 extra word per minute, but notice our accuracy goes up by 5 words, 5%. We want them to type more accurately, but a little bit faster. That's what's going to get them through the program. Our default settings are made for them to successfully pass. Our lessons are meant to be 2 minutes when students are practicing at grade level. When they're typing at grade level, it's 2 minutes. Notice we start with 2 keystrokes first. They build up the speed for those keystrokes, and then we add 2 more. That's from grade 2 going from all of the students. Basically, kindergarten, we have them working at 70% accuracy at 2 words per minute. Grade 1 is at 80% at 5 words per minute. And we're just building up. You can always go here, click on any of them. Notice grade 9, it's basically, we go 5 words per minute per grade level. So if you're in grade 9, it's 9 5s or 45 to meet grade level. Grade 10 would be 10 by 5, 50 words per minute. And we then make it a tad bit harder in terms of what the expectations are for those grade levels. Okay, so the whole thing here is getting having your kids gain the stars, and when they earn stars, they earn experience points. The experience points open up the different curriculums that are available for the children. Also, as they're working to hit these targets, they're earning grit coins. And let me go here to grade settings. Let's look at grade 4 and 5 because that's where we have what we have. Notice we have all of these curriculums. The curriculums support keyboarding. So no matter what you're doing, basic code, type your own adventure, they're just different ways for students to practice their typing. Agent challenge, this lesson should not be open until students have completed the whole keyboarding curriculum. Because like how I showed you, the grade 4 students will be working at 20 words per minute at 85% accuracy. When they do the agent challenge, we're going to be pushing them beyond what they were doing. So many teachers make the mistake of applying this immediately. And when we suggest, please don't, you're only frustrating your kids. If you were to leave it at our default settings, when students earn enough experience points, we will open up these curriculums automatically for them. With the games, many teachers want them to play games immediately. No, don't do that. We suggest, and again, you have the right to do it, but we suggest that this opens up typically after students have completed in the K2 mountain, they finish mountain 1, or in the 3+ curriculum, they finish world 3. Once they tend to finish that, then the games can open. That's when they've learned all of the letters, so they can now practice in the games, practicing the correct keystrokes. When they haven't learned the keystrokes and they start playing the games, they're looking down at their fingers, trying to answer those, trying to beat the game. So what you're doing is essentially valuing bad habits. So we're suggesting, nope, open those games. Let us open them by default. And that's when the students have earned at 2,655 experience points for grades 3 and above. And kindergarten, grade 1, I can't recall what it is, but my solution center, which is always found right here, I can always I can always put in experience points, and uh, and I can click here and we tell you exactly what is required. So for K2 for games, agent challenge games is 1,230 experience points for the games to open up for the little ones. Okay, these are, if you want the kids to have access to the grit coins basically is money in their pockets that will permit them to play games. So they earn 5 grit coins for every lesson they do well. And if they were to repeat a lesson, they just get 1 grit coin. So essentially, they have to do at least 2 full lessons in order to earn 10 grit coins. And games can only be played when you have 10 grit coins, where you can purchase 10 minutes of game time. When the 10 minutes runs out, they have no more game time. It shuts them off, and it pushes them to go and play those games, to do more of the lessons should they want to play the games. So I like to use the grit coins and experience points in conjunction with one another, because the experience points, again, opens the curriculums, and they can change the themes in their backgrounds, or the grit coins controls the avatars they may want to use to personalize their accounts or play games. If you want, there are some teachers that don't want children to do the placement test. They want them to start from the home row and watch them as they do their lessons. So at the district level, you can click that they skip the placement test. If you have kids who use iPads and cannot use the mouse, you can enable that or disable it. And if you want to bypass the experience points, you can actually do that. Should you want to adjust the number of characters that your students see in any particular lesson, you can go ahead and change this to whatever you want and update it. We don't, again, recommend it because our lessons are already short enough. If you have, and again, it's 2 minutes. Common Core and ISTE standards want kids to be typing a page in 1 sitting or more, or up to 3 pages. So you don't need to shorten it. If you find that your kids are having, or a specific student is having difficulty, go ahead and make the adjustment. Change that child change the settings for that particular student to make it lower, or put them at a lower grade level. They won't see it. The children, they will have a similar background as everybody else. So you can adjust it that way instead of modifying the character count for everybody in the district. But again, you have that capability. Your grade book, we have grade for every grade level based on what they're expected to achieve. The grade book is here. And this is how we do our standards, but you, again, could always go, you can put emojis, emoticons, whatever you want. If you use rubrics, you can put whatever you want there. You save your settings, and that will be good to go for your district. As a district, you can schedule tests for your whole district. So you can go ahead and do that. You can create the test. You can say which grade levels are to do it, what's the start date, what's the end date, how long you want that test to be, and the number of retries you want for your district. Once you create your test, you can always even upload any of our tests and it will pop right in there for you. You save that, and when your students log on for the first time, it will automatically be assigned to them. You don't need to worry. As long as you save it, it's going to populate for them when they log in the first time and they click on their keyboarding curriculum. Your district portal, this is if you're wanting to log in with Google, log in with Clever, log in with ClassLink, log in with Microsoft, allow students to self-register or allow teachers to self-register. This is what's done here. Note that should you use Clever or ClassLink, you can use, it doesn't make sense having these teachers and students to sign up because the rostering platform will do that for you. You cannot have both of these activated at one time. It's either one or the other, or none. You can do, if you want to use our own SFTP protocol where your roster is updated every night without using any other third-party rostering system, that is there. Just let us know and we will get that set up for you. Okay. So I know I'm taking a lot of time. It's already 12:30. Just note, let me just go here quickly, the curriculums, as I said, that we have available. The notepad is one of the most underused curriculums that we have. This is when you're trying to meet your standards, the national standards of reading and writing. You can have your students go in and click on this and write and send it to you to evaluate. This gets them word processing. When I use it with my kindergarten kids can write. Just let them use the invented spelling, then ask them to tell you what they wrote. You can write it at the bottom of there for them. And it's a great way for them to actually use this program in a great way. Your third graders can go ahead and write stories about problems they're trying to solve, how they feel about keyboarding. All of that can be done in this notepad setting. When they send it to you, you can click it, review it, read it, print it out, whatever. It's just another way for them to practice these skills. The only thing here is with the Spanish curriculum, the Spanish lessons cannot be used at the same time the keyboarding foundations is used, either or. You have to either have the children doing the Spanish keyboarding lessons or any of our default keyboarding lessons. You turn those off and on. Should you want to see what the students are doing, you can always click on this. The same thing that the students see when they click in, go into their environment, you can log on and see what they're doing. All of these icons mean something when they do their lessons. So note they are there. You can explore what the children see in curriculums. And your reports, note they're here for districts. All of them are important. One that I want to point out too is district administrators, because our default settings permits teachers to do whatever they like. Many times we get questions from districts saying, hey, but this happened, we didn't do it. Well, this district activity report will tell you what happened. You can, if it's for a specific school where the problem is coming from, you can sync for that specific school, click all time and run the report. We will tell you which teacher did what. So should you need to have a conversation with that teacher because things just didn't disappear, kids just were not deleted out of the account by themselves, you will find that oftentimes teachers do things and the district activity report will tell you who did what. As district administrators, you may want to see which grade is doing what, how it's being used monthly. Just go through those list of reports, run it, export them, and they'll be there for you. Quickly, I'm looking at when we imported our teachers, they appear here. You can always go in and add a single teacher or import them, or students. Here, just click on them. If you have I don't want to import, I just wanted to add a single person. You can just click add a single student. Go ahead, you do that. And when you assign the student will be at a specific grade level. The content curriculums for that grade level will be assigned to that student. Should you want to add a staff member, just the role here will tell you what type of teacher that person's going to be, a teacher or a school administrator. Just put the information there. If you put an email address with a password, we will email the teacher telling them, hey, your account is set up. Here's your username and password. You can log in and get started. This filter here, many times we find that teachers don't notice this. It's an assigned, unassigned, how many students are not in classrooms. They appear in your unassigned curriculum. You can filter for those particular students. You can find, it may be students who are no longer at your school, so you can go ahead and delete them. Just click delete the users. I click delete users. Oh, hey, are you sure you want to do it? Yeah, sure, right. We go ahead and notice they're gone immediately. Or you can move them from one grade level, one grade to another, one school to another. You can change their enrollments, put the school here, put the grade they're supposed to go, and we will move them over. Or as here, you can tell many times you'll get, if you look here, we tell you how many licenses you bought, how many are actually you're using, that is assigned and unassigned. And if you find you're over rostered, then you just make adjustments by deleting students you don't need, by clicking on them and deleting them, as I've just shown you. Or you can just ask us to send you a quote for additional students, and we'll get them for you. I've now filtered by using this filter for my school administrators. I just want to quickly log in as a school administrator. Notice I'm logged in as a district administrator, so I have access to all of this information. So I'm looking here and I'm logged in as this particular teacher or this particular school administrator. I note that this has changed at the top. The color tells me, hey, you're logged in as a teacher, and the interface is a tad bit different. Notice they have the same things you have, but they only have this type of information at their single school, not at your whole district. So your school administrator has specific reports that they can pull at the school level. If they want to do additions or move things for their teachers, they can go ahead and do that. They come on their dashboard and they can see what's happening at their specific school. Notice where when I showed you, I changed it back to the old date that I had, the 2022-23. So should you get school administrators or teachers complaining that their reports are old, go check your time settings and make sure this is adjusted so that they don't see this. They should be seeing 23-24. Note that your district administrators can log in as any teacher, any student, any classroom. So I'm just going to show you this here. Whenever you see an asterisk next to a child's name, it means that some modification was made for that student, be it they've been given lower targets, higher targets, different curricula. There's something that was done to a specific student's account. Notice no one else has it. So I can always log on as this particular student. If I were to click here, if this student is doing really well, notice here, I can click when I say accommodations were made for this student. I can go in and I can adjust whatever words per minute accuracy. Should I want to change any of these proficiencies? This child is doing oh so well. I want to promote them to the next grade level. Sorry, not next grade level, but I want to challenge this student. I can go ahead and do so. I can change any settings. This is for any students. If this student keeps hiding their keyboard, you can lock the keyboard on the screen so the child cannot delete it. I can just click this and apply it. That will then go for the student. If I don't want them to play any games, I can disable all games. So this particular student has lost, even though they may have enough grit coins, they have lost the privilege to play games. You can go ahead and do that. Of course, you're hitting apply for any of these things that you do. And accessibility options. This is where if you have those higher level accessibility things, controls that you want one specific student to have access to, you can enable it right here and apply. If you have one student, if you have a student that has, say, only one hand, you can customize it for, be it the right hand, left hand, the font size, be they low vision, high vision, or the font families. If you have a child who's dyslexic, you can give them the dyslexic font. So when they do their lessons, it'll be there. For digital citizenship, if you want to control what students do, and it's only with the digital citizenship can you control one lesson at a time. You can lock all lessons for this particular student or a classroom of students, or you can open them up for this particular student. Once you do that, you don't need to save this one. There's nothing to save. It's automatically opened. So when this student logs on, that student will be able to do that work. Notice that if you wanted to print any login cards, they're here. Any certificates of completion or grade improvement, they're there as well. Let me look at just the reports at the classroom level, because it was a question we got. This is a great report to see what your students are doing. The progress report, you select, this here tells you what the targets are that classroom is working towards. Notice some students may have different ones because modifications were made. And then here we give you the average words per minute and accuracy that they're getting, plus the adjusted words per minute. The adjusted words per minute is just, we take the raw scores, we then adjust it for accuracy, and the adjusted words per minute is a truer indication of what your students are actually typing. If you find that, say, if this student was, if the targets were, say, this child was supposed to be typing 50 words per minute at 85% accuracy, say that child was in grade 10, and this child is only typing 22 words per minute, I can go in and I see what they're doing. I can use this as my guideline when I make adjustments. So after 3 weeks of typing, look at what your students are doing. We advise teachers to review what their students are doing and then make smart adjustments. Make 22 the 1-star goal, up it by 5 to 27 words per minute, and you can keep it at 96% accuracy because they're showing they're consistently working there. For 2 stars and 3 stars, you can then go up to 32 words per minute at 96% accuracy to give them real goals, challenge them to work, but not make it too easy for them. You can see how far they are with the program and what grade they've achieved so far at this point, based on what they're doing at any particular time by either clicking on the detailed or summary. Summary just breaks it down world by world, what they're doing, and detailed tells you where they are overall in terms of the complete program. So I know I'm way over. That was about 45 minutes. I'm going to stop here because I'm sure you can log in. Note that you can always use well, I'm not going to, let me go back here. Log in as the district administrator. You have a demo student account. You can use any school and you can log in and practice keyboarding. See exactly what your students are using. We we ask teachers to do the exact same. Instead of creating an account for themselves, use this demo student button, because that's not going to affect your school's statistics. So if you have a teacher typing and working on everything, and all of a sudden you see that the students all that your school's data is improving exponentially, it's probably that one of your teachers have been working and it's now affecting what you're showing. So that's it for now. What I've done is I've walked you through how to upload your schools, classrooms, teachers, and students. I've looked at the settings, I've looked at your features, and I've looked at some of the reports. Note that you can always reach out to us at 425-880-2500. Typing agent is extension 1, then 2. Your in-app chat, where I showed you that little blue box at the bottom right, write to us right there. That's where we sleep. Don't send anything to our personal emails, because we get on there at the end of the day. Our goal is to answer you within 20 minutes. Now that school is starting, though, things are a bit more hectic. So please give us grace but we will get you answered by the day for sure, within a few hours at most. And always consult your Solutions Center or our YouTube channel should you ever have any questions or concerns. Okay, so let me open this up. Should you have any questions for me? Or you can put them in the chat box. I'm trying to unmute everyone, and that's not happening. What I'm going to do too is I'm going to stop the recording.